At Thanksgiving dinner, my grandmother suddenly shouted in front of the entire family, "Why is there an elderly couple living in the $1 million lake house I bought for you?" I froze. The only thing I managed to say was, "What are you talking about? I don't even have a house right now. I'm sleeping on my cousin's couch." At that exact moment, my sister's face turned pale, and right then, the lawyer arrived. My grandmother had been out of the country for 3 years, working under a consulting contract in Singapore. She and I had always been incredibly close, the kind of grandmother who secretly slipped a $20 bill inside your birthday card and remembered every random little thing you'd ever told her. Before leaving, she told me she had done something important for me, something to make sure I'd be okay. She never really explained what it was. I assumed maybe it was a savings bond or some small investment. I didn't press her for details. That ended up being the last real conversation we ever had. After that, the letters stopped coming, or at least that's what I thought. At the time, I was juggling 2 jobs at once. During the day, I worked at a restaurant. At night, I did remote data entry work for $14 an hour. I was sleeping on my cousin's couch, eating whatever I could scrape together for less than $11 a day. I had $340 left in my bank account and $27,000 in student loan debt. Every time I thought about reaching out to Grandma, I convinced myself she was busy, that the silence probably made sense. I repeated that story to myself so many times. I eventually believed it. Meanwhile, my sister Jessica never seemed to struggle with anything. She had married a guy named Ryan the year before, and they were constantly posting pictures online, trips, fancy dinners, home renovations. I remember one specific post, our new vacation home. There was a hashtag underneath, a photo of a beautiful lake, a gorgeous house, a huge deck overlooking the water. I double-tapped the picture and kept scrolling, too exhausted to let myself feel anything more complicated than simple jealousy. Then everything changed. My grandmother came back 6 weeks earlier than expected. She didn't tell anyone. The moment she landed, she rented a car and drove straight to the lake property she had purchased under my name. She knocked on the front door. An elderly couple answered, Ryan's parents. They had been living there for over 2 years, paying Jessica $4,000 a month in rent, and they had absolutely no idea that legally, the house belonged to me. Standing right there on the porch, Grandma immediately called my aunt. She told her to find me, but specifically not through my parents. A few minutes later, I got a text message from a number I didn't recognize. "Don't ask questions. Call this number now." So I called. Grandma answered, and in about 4 minutes, she explained everything. Her voice was flat, controlled. I knew that tone. That was how she sounded when she was furious but forcing herself not to explode. Apparently, my family had been telling her that I was emotionally unstable, that I couldn't handle money, that I wasn't responsible enough to manage something as valuable as a property, but not to worry, because they were taking care of everything for me. They said they were protecting me, that it was all for my own good, that they had everything under control. I hung up and sat down on the last step outside my cousin's apartment building. My phone still felt warm against my ear. 3 years believing my grandmother had abandoned me. 3 years making excuses for her inside my own head. And the truth was, she had bought me a house, a real house, $1 million lake house, while I was counting quarters for bus fare, while I was eating instant noodles standing in someone else's kitchen. My hands were shaking. Not from sadness. It was something uglier than that. Something hot rising from my stomach all the way into my throat. Something that made it impossible to swallow. I called back the number my aunt had texted me from. Grandma picked up immediately. "Are you still there?" she asked. "I'm here." "Good." There was a pause. Then she said, "You're coming to Thanksgiving dinner, day after tomorrow, at your parents' house. Don't tell anyone we spoke. Don't say a single word." I hesitated. "Grandma, I don't even know if they'll let me in." There was silence for a second. Then her voice turned colder. "Let you in? I'll be there. And someone else is coming with me. You just show up, sit down, and leave the rest to me."